Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a big one for you. Former RCMP officer Michael Miker decided to be a Chinese asset. Let's see what our Ministry of Truth CTV News has to say about it.
Live look from Ottawa this hour. We're following this breaking news coming in. The RCMP have arrested and charged one of their own, a former RCMP officer, charged with helping China to interfere in Canadian affairs. It comes as the issue of foreign governments, particularly China, targeting Canada, has become a huge issue in our country in recent months. Let's go to our bureau in Ottawa, CTV's Rachel Aiello, following this breaking news for us here. So, what do we know, Rachel? Walk us through some of the details.
Before we see what they know, what do we know? Well, first of all, we know that there was multiple Chinese police stations stationed in Canada, which is a complete and utter violation of our sovereignty. Two, they were influencing Chinese nationals living in Canada, which I mean, how can that happen? Like, do you think that the Chinese would allow for a Canadian police station to be in China? No, not a chance, man. Like this is crazy. I don't know how we got so soft on communism, man. It's insane.
So, Todd, what we know so far is William Miker, age 60, has been charged with two counts under the Security of Information Act. He has been charged with preparatory acts for the benefit of a foreign entity and conspiracy. And so these are charges the RCMP is alleging are connected to efforts he made to help the Chinese government identify and intimidate someone or someones in Canada. Now, this is a retired RCMP officer age 60, they say, from Hong Kong. So this is a major development in, as you said, Todd, this foreign interference file that we have been following. And now we are seeing that charges have been laid against one of their own officers in these allegations suggesting that he was one of those who we have been talking about for months now, allegedly helping China meddle in Canadian affairs.
So hang on a minute. It's not just this one guy. There's multiple RCMP officers working with the Chinese Communist Party. Really? This is not like fucking front page news. I think this story happened a few days ago, and I've heard nothing else about it. But this is a very serious issue. You know, how the fuck are we supposed to be okay with this? That's insane.
We were talking to a former spy with Canada's spy agency last hour, Rachel, who was telling us that this is likely just the tip of the iceberg. That the RCMP ceases
Let's highlight that. Just the tip of the iceberg. We should be screaming this from the rooftops. This is insane.
have identified, there could be hundreds, upwards of 1,000 different people in our country who may be working for other governments,
Thousands.
China or others, as the case may be. So you wonder how this story may play into the larger story here. This is perhaps just the beginning.
Absolutely. And we heard from the RCMP commissioner just last month, Todd. He was testifying at a parliamentary committee about this issue of foreign interference. And he said at the time the RCMP had more than 100 investigations open into allegations connected to
A
foreign
hundred
interference. So,
open
certainly, yes, there is
investigations.
a number of these probes
Remember that.
underway. And this is also coming in the context, Todd, of these negotiations that are ongoing between the parties about whether or not the federal government is going to strike a public inquiry into foreign interference. And we haven't heard yet, but we certainly expect that this now new development of charges against a retired RCMP officer for foreign interference will likely only add fuel to that fire from the opposition parties calling for a public inquiry. We have also reached out to Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino's office for a comment, and we'll update you when we hear.
Oh my god. That's a waste of time. Sorry, sweetheart.
Back.
All right, great. Rachel Aiello with the latest very serious story. The RCMP charging one of their own, a former member of the RCMP, with working on behalf of China. Thank you for this, Rachel.
So, hang on. Before we end this, let's get this straight. So, there's potentially thousands of communist spies running around Canada taking information. Like, how is this not like the biggest issue in Canada, man? We're worried about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all these sorts of things, but being infiltrated by a communist government isn't. Really? Oh my god, I'm gonna leave it there. That's all I got for this one today, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Poverty is sexist.